Hey, you geeks! Brandon Sanderson's Secret Project 3 totally allayed any fears I may have had that the secret projects would be a bust after Tress. Secret Project 3 perfects those concepts which Sanderson had been exploring in other books but needed more time to bring to fruition. He delivers them here in the most anime/Sanderson way possible. Yumi totally rocks.
You so totally rock, Squirt!
I mean, if you ask me, all of Sanderson's rock books rock. And he's been unintentionally channeling anime and Tollywood, basically, since, forever. So it's so cool here to see him do it with intent and to pull it off masterfully. However, as much as I love Michael and Kate's narration, I do wish that the audiobook had leaned a bit more into that anime vibe. Though this audiobook is the first one to include actual in-character descriptions of the book's illustrations. Though Sanderson does provide the ebook and audiobook as a package for now, it is still great to have the hardcover, which for the first time was delivered in a manner that I could unbox for you at the beginning of this video. So I will do that right now. Unboxing. I really don't know what to say during an unboxing, which is why I've done these as shorts without voiceovers for the first two. But now it's time to
take chances, make mistakes.
And open Pandora's box. So the box seems to still have, new wit quote, storytelling is essentially about cheating. Yes, we all know that Sanderson is a big fat liar who reveals timeless truths, as all good artists should be. This box's pin is a Shallan. With her safe hand modestly covered, of course. So, here is the Yumi sticker. What do you guys put your stickers on? Since I just kind of have them all collected as unstuck things, like all of my stickers. Maybe I need to decorate my Cosmere water bottle, which is a really great water bottle. And lastly is the lovely leather-bound Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. With that out of the way, now for my spoilerific breakdown of characters, world building, magic system, and plot. But first, a musical interlude. Musical inspiration. I could go with the obvious and rely on the themes or accidents of the whole opposites attracting and balancing each other out.
One alone is not enough. You need both together.
Mixed in with that pampered princess who really just wants to be like other girls.
Just to be free like other girls.
And say Mulan 2, or rather that Mulan 2 was the bad art that is necessary, though completely insufficient, to create the good art of Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. Both do rely on telenovela antics after all.
It won't hold us both!
It will. It will, Shay.
Mulan. I'm sorry.
Please. Shay!
But Yumi makes it not suck, because Yumi has a core story. Yumi has substance. Mulan 2 at its heart is nothing. At Yumi's heart is the story of an artist who loves his work so much that it comes to life as a real woman. Therefore, it is clearly a cleverly disguised and class-inverted My Fair Lady.
All I want is a room somewhere far away from the cold night air.
Also known as Pygmalion, both the ancient Greek myth about an artist who hates society.
I'm an ordinary man who desires nothing more than just an ordinary chance to live exactly as he likes and do precisely what he wants.
Whose masterpiece came to life. George Bernard Shaw takes this idea and makes a contemporary retelling with an elocutionist instead of a sculptor, and a flower girl instead of a rock. I just realized how funny that is. Okay.
A few moments later.
George Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion therefore raises the question of what is a reclusive artist man to do with a real woman with real goals?
Well, don't you thank God it's all over and how you're free and you can do what you like?
What am I fit for? What have you left me fit for? Where am I to go? What am I to do? What's to become of me?
Sanderson is clearly riffing off of this question and explores it in new ways, as Yumi is constantly bemoaning that she would be better off as a machine to make her art. Painter, of course, then emancipates her from her stifling role in society, and through his help, Yumi is able to become her own fair lady.
How lovely to be a woman. The wait was well worthwhile.
Sorry, not sorry. Painter. His arc is literally about learning to see people for who they are and not the broad labels he's created for them. He starts the story labeling his former friends as the popular kids and the tourish people as bamboo. He is the only real person inside the world of his little head, and that is why only he is a true artist.
Batman's a true artist. Dark, brooding.
Apparently, there is a whole anime trope of self-aggrandizing lonely boys who are out there doing whatever it is they do. I'm actually not familiar with this trope, though it's talked about on Reddit. So please let me know in the comments a few good anime shows I can watch to get better acquainted with this guy, because Painter is so much fun. In the Princess and the Pauper type stories, or rather here the Priestess and the Painter, we expect that the two will cross paths and learn valuable lessons from each other, assumedly in this case about their art. Painter is set up as a bad artist, and therefore I assumed he would learn from Yumi, whose work is very balanced, the importance of composition. But that is falling for Sanderson's trap. Yumi unexpectedly teaches him something more precise, that is integrity, follow-through, and inspiration.
Seeing a beautiful sky can really make you feel things. Just like Hina. She really makes me feel things.
Since Painter is a creative or a creator, it's logical that Sanderson would have him struggle with his destructive nature. Instead of a more literal destruction of things, Painter struggles with the relationships he has destroyed through creating fabulous lies that are in no way true. The book gives us an opportunity to hold Painter accountable for his actions, as well as examine the expectations he was trying to fulfill. And by taking accountability for himself and his actions leads up to Painter's wonderful barricade moment.
The people have not stirred. We're abandoned by those who still live in fear.
And declare that we are the Dream Watch now. I will never get tired of Sanderson dropping little Les Mis-isms in his work. Ooh. Yumi. It's interesting how, unlike Painter, Yumi never fully associates herself with a position. Rather, she has this sense of her perpetual unworthiness to be in her position.
Me? A princess? Shut up!
Sanderson clues the readers in early that she has truly exceptional skills, but also shows that because of Lei Yun's nightmarish gaslighting, Yumi has no confidence in herself. She is willing to believe that Painter, who she knows at this point is a liar, but Painter has better rock stacking skills than her. She is so on board with the whole Princess and the Pauper, she's going to learn something important from him for her art storyline, that Sanderson flips the book on her and has Painter teach her confidence instead.
You son of a...
And she's just not ready for it, which is what makes it great. Just as she wasn't ready to fall in love with this total stranger. I was quite critical of Sanderson's romance in Secret Project 2, but it seems like he took all the potential relationship building out of that book and dumped it here, so we get twice the level of love, actually. We get tasteful sexual tension early on with the bath scene.
I couldn't help myself, but it was just the one time.
Just the one time? How many times is it the issue?
Then we see them grow from appreciating each other's work, solving problems together, and then hitting that next level, which is appreciating each other for who they are and not just what they do. Yumi is on a quest to see herself as a person, and it is through Painter igniting her passions, her love, that she is able to realize that.
I want a life that is mine.
We don't become geisha to pursue our own destinies. We become geisha because we have no choice.
Finding her passion for life doesn't improve Yumi's technical skill at all, but rather it unlocks her true love of her artwork, and when she is able to perform it for the sake of those she loves, is when she is able to break the machine and save the world. World building. Here is where I will address that gigantic plot twist. Ever since this book was announced, the fandom has been encouraged to believe that Painter and Yumi are from two separate worlds. And then when Painter really began to double down with this plot, the more I began to suspect it was a red herring. Especially with the reveal that Hyun worked in Yumi's world. I've dug far too deeply down the rabbit hole of investiture science and know that it is incredibly rare for two worlds to have the same type of investiture.
What do you want to know about rockets?
Everything.
My predominant theory was that Yumi was, in fact, in some sort of mirror world on the same planet as Painter, but that her spirits were the nightmares attacking his city for their technology, which didn't quite add up. And boy, was I wrong.
And I've never been so happy to be proved wrong.
I was completely blindsided by the idea that Yumi was imprisoned in some sort of Groundhog Day time loop mixed with the Truman Show reserve of her community, and was not prepared for Li Yun and her servants and all the townspeople to be the nightmares in truth. Upon my reread, that was actually storming obvious. The first thing that Yumi says when she sees Painter's world is Yumi was in the darkest place of dead spirits, which she later explains is beyond the sky. And since Painter lives beyond the painted projection that is her sky, and in a world where the shroud is the dead husks of spirits, another cog in the murder machine. Yumi is 100% correct. Magic system. This is probably the softest magic system Sanderson is ever going to write, because it is practiced entirely through artistic mediums. And art, as this book explains, ain't accounting. Reading this book during the Writers Guild strikes and the AI art cultural question makes this book feel incredibly timely, but it still has that timeless quality of great fantasy. My reading buddy took a different tact on this and mentioned how Sanderson is somewhat of a writing machine and his fans count on him for that. I'll be right like tomorrow will arrive. I'll be right like you needed to survive. So, when Sanderson fails to crank out whatever we, the audience, think we are owed by him, we can be a rather brutal bunch, myself included, and I try to be nice on here. Yumi, as a book originally written just for his own enjoyment and his wife's, the woman he loves, it gives this magic system based off of art that is a mix of skill and passion, just a beautiful fourth wall breaking grounding that is what makes this book so timeless, really. It's the power of love. I'm going to need a whole nother video to address how Yumi tackles the concept of art. But for here, I'll just gush that Sanderson makes these absurd concepts so intuitive. Of course, you can fight nightmares with paintbrushes, and sure, stacking rocks definitely summons spirits. And these necessary functions performed by artists makes their society value what they do a lot more than they value them as individuals.
The very word geisha means artist. And to be a geisha is to be judged as a moving work of art.
And Sanderson's magic system perfectly underscores that point. Extra spoiler warning for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Weathering with You, Your Name, and Full Metal Alchemist. Basically, I'm about to spoil a whole lot of anime. Plot. In college, my history of Taiwan professor just lectured for an entire class period about how Eastern romance storytelling is much more tragic than Western, as we see in the end of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
许个愿吧，小虎。
一起回新疆。
Then, as Western influences trickle in, you get kind of the bittersweet yet hopeful endings of Your Name.
Can I ask you your name?
Then we get to something like Weathering with You, where the girl believes that she has to sacrifice herself to save the world, and the boy just won't let her do that.
If I ever see the sun again, I care about you! I don't care about blue skies!
So, when we get to Yumi, an anime-inspired story by a Western author, I believed for no amount of time that Yumi was actually going to die at the end of this book. I told that to the sky several times, loudly, Well, I was finishing this book on a walk in the park. Yumi develops this genre by bringing Sanderson's optimism and belief that two people loving each other truly is what is necessary to save the world and not destroy it.
To love another person is to see the face of God.
Though Sanderson does stay in line with the more prevalent anime theories on what would totally destroy the world, like sucking out everyone's soul for the amusement of the ruling class. Are we sure he hasn't seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood yet? Sanderson scientists aren't so much as intentionally evil, just bad at programming and unwilling to accept that their proposed perfect system may have some slight flaws. Once their perfect system is turned on, it traps Yumi into a computer-generated reality. Thus, Yumi perfectly blends that line of sci-fi and fantasy that Sanderson is getting really good at.
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage. Born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch.
The machine is, of course, magic, so only magic can stop it. That is, Yumi has to inspire the divine to stop powering the machine. Meanwhile, Painter, who's been learning about seeing people for who they are, has to learn how to see the humanity of the nightmares. And it is by recognizing the humanity of the seemingly inhuman is what makes them human, obviously.
Silent breed is people!
So, yes, I love Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. This is definitely my favorite secret project. What's yours? Let me know down in the comments. Also, please like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more, and see you next week. Bye!